Hello there.
Hello, everybody. What is up? Welcome to Cantina Social Hour on this Friday night, this January 31st of 2025. Longest January in history, I feel like. But here we are. It's Friday. It's great to be here. It's great to see everybody that is with us tonight. And I am absolutely stoked. I'm absolutely stoked to be here and end my week and end my month on Cantina Social Hour with you guys here, the Cantinians hanging out here in the chat, watching along and doing your thing. Thank you guys for being here, genuinely. All right, so we have a few topics to cover tonight that I'll tell you about in just a moment, and then we'll say hello to everybody who is here in the chat with us. Before we do that, I do want to mention a couple housekeeping things. So you guys know the drill. Entertainment Earth, promo code Victoria. If you're purchasing anything in stock on Entertainment Earth, be sure you use that promo code. It's just my name, just Victoria, just as it is here on the screen, right there. It'll get you 10% off your purchase of any in-stock item. So take advantage of that. There's a lot of stuff coming and processing, and that's actually in stock right now, which is really cool. So take advantage of that. We got to save every little collecting dollar we can so that we can put it towards the next big collectible in the collection. So that is there for your use. Other thing I want to mention, we do have a show next Friday as well, of course, next Friday. The February 7th, but the week after that, you guys, the week after that, Friday is a Valentine's Day. So I was kind of like, what do I do? Should I do a show on Valentine's Day? Is anybody going to watch if I do a show on Valentine's Day? I don't know. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it on the 12th, on Wednesday the 12th, that week only. I think we've run into this in the past, and we're going to do it again. February 12th, Wednesday, that week will be Wednesday Social Hour. And then after that, the 21st will be back to Fridays as per normal. So I guess that's about it. It's been kind of a slow week, it feels like, in every area. They dumped everything on us at the beginning of the month, all the new TVC, all the new Black series, all the whatever you collect, it's been busy. So there's been a lot to digest lately, and now it's kind of quiet. So let's see who's in the chat with us tonight, so we can say hello and welcome. All right. So Dodgson he's always first. I don't know how he does it. He's always the first here in the chat. Like, love it. Thank you for your dedication, Dodgson. We appreciate it very much. We got our moderator, Adam, with us. Hey, Adam, what is up? Thank you for moderating. We appreciate it very much. Thanks for doing what you do. Let's see, we've got Better Bob with us. How's it going, Bob? Happy Friday to you too. We've got Britt in Toyland. Hey, Brittany, how are you doing? It is great to see you, as it always is. Thanks for being here tonight. We got Peak Obi-Wan. Hey, Peak Obi-Wan, how's it going? Pour me a drink. Absolutely. So I have some Blood Red, Mountain Dew Code Red right here. I haven't had Code Red in like 15 years or something ridiculous, but I saw it at the store and I was like, huh. Like, I don't know if it was out for a long time and they just brought it back. Like, I'm really genuinely not sure, but I saw it and I was like, hey, feels like a Code Red kind of day. Let's see. We got Rick with us. Hey, Rick. Salutations to you. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Let's see. Love it. We're off to a really good start this evening. Allison's with us. Hello, Allison. Happy Friday to you. Our friend Mary's with us. Hey, Mary. Thank you for joining us. New lighting. Yeah, I can do this any color I want, you guys. I can do blue. I can do orange. I can do purple. I can do pink. I can do light blue or teal. I can do yellow. I can do dark blue. I can do green. I can do red. I can do crazy things that might give you a seizure. So I'm probably not going to. I'm probably not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. We don't want that. We're just going to keep it stable for tonight. Let's see. A Wednesday social hour. Yep. That will be fun. My SW guys, hello there. We got Tim with us. Hey, Tim. My daughter, Emmeline, and I are watching tonight. Her first time watching live. Excited for another great visit to the Cantina. Tell Emmeline hello. Emmeline, hi, if you're watching. Thank you for being here with us. Welcome. And Victoria has all the colors all the time. I mean, I may only wear black, but I have all the colors. It doesn't have to make sense, right? Nothing has to make sense. It just has to fit. And I think it fits. I don't know why. Anyway. Thank you guys for joining. We appreciate it very much. Yep, I got my kyber crystals, of course. Oh, I didn't turn on my lightsaber. Oh, I should turn it on in a minute. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get things started. Dark side vibe. I mean, it's me, right? There's always a dark side vibe. Very nice. Thank you, Tim. Cool. So we are going to talk about tonight's topics. So tonight, it was a slow week, like I said earlier. There wasn't a lot of toy news, to be honest. We're going to talk about Power Rangers Reignition, because that is Playmates, right? That's their thing now. We're going to talk a little bit about Star Wars Power of the Force. Not Power of the Force. Power of the Force. Because apparently there's no other names to name new marketing initiatives. We're going to talk about a TVC reveal, if you will. Whoa. One of my action figures fell off the shelf in real time. Love it. And we are going to talk about our main topic tonight, okay? 10 Hasbro Star Wars items needed this year, 2025. This year. Not next year, not the year after. 10 items that need to be announced, at the very least announced this year. Very important, very timely. Well, that'll be our main focus during this chat. And then, of course, we're going to get into our new acquisitions, brand new things we've added to my collection. I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. For me, it's kind of light this week. Last week was a little heavier. The week before that was heavier. This week is a little bit light. But there are some things to talk about for some show and tell. And then our guests will do show and tell. And then you guys will tell and I'll show. Does that make sense? I don't even know if that made sense. But anyway. Thank you guys very much for being here. So we're going to go ahead and introduce tonight's guest, David Matthews. How are you doing? Thank you for... I love how you're using my term, shelf-aside. Yes, anytime an action figure is on the floor, it's shelf-aside. I don't know why. I mean, I try to make sure everybody on the shelf is happy, but you can't make everybody happy, ultimately. Storm the beach is a scarif. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, anyway. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and bring in tonight's guest. So he has been on the show once before. I think it was like May or April last year. I don't even remember exactly. But tonight, we got Paul's Collectibles joining us. So let's go ahead and bring him in right now.
I had a really good feeling about this.
Paul, welcome to the Cantina.
Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm well. Thank you for joining. It's great to see you once again.
Yeah, you too. I mentioned your hair earlier. I love how people were talking about the dark side vibe. They just kept it simple as opposed to my ridiculous comment that didn't make any sense. So,
tell us what you said. We want to hear it again.
Oh, well, when you first appeared on screen, I said, wow, you are much more dusky hued this time. And you looked at me like I had just spoken Russian to you or something. And you're like, what? I go, oh, your hair's dark. And I was trying to use a line from Tombstone, the movie, but it thudded as it went up with a microphone. So I gave it a shot.
Yeah. Ultimately, we understood. And
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I go back and forth.
Oh, okay.
Light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark. I'm just, I like change, I guess. I don't know.
Oh.
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. Depends on what it is, I guess. Anyway. Yeah. So welcome back to the show. Remind us, it's been a while. Remind us a little bit. You're on YouTube. You have a channel. You talk a lot about the helmets, but you also do a mix of different Star Wars collectibles.
True. The helmets are my main passion, and I'm kind of become known as the helmet guy by accident, even though I don't think I really know that much about helmets. But I also am a big fan of the TVC, which is why I think you'll even consider having me here. Thank you, I appreciate that. And every now and then I'll pick up a hot toy if it's a trooper or something like that. But mostly I'm a real narrow focused collector. It's just the helmets and the TVC for the most part.
Nice. Yeah. No, that's cool. And we do have you linked down in the description, your YouTube and your Instagram, so that our viewers, if they're not familiar with your content, can go and look you up. And, I always, say, check out Paul. He does great stuff. Great. It's always noticeable, when you're looking at a video, like the caliber of the content as far as like the quality of the camera and audio and all that. You do a really good job with the production value. So,
thank you.
That is a plus.
I appreciate that. It's been a long growing experience since I started this in 2020, and I've just kind of, tried to improve a little bit each few months or something like that. To be perfectly honest with you, I steal a lot of ideas from other people. I see it, and then put them all together to make it look like I know what I'm doing, but I really don't. I'm just having fun.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, having fun. Battery Bob says having a narrow focus helps save money. Indeed, it does.
Amen, brother. It wasn't always like this. I was picking up Black Series. I was picking up Retro Collection and some other things and some vintage. And then I was like, between space and money, I was like, yeah, let's just figure out what's important and go with that.
Yeah, I'm not narrowly focused. So that's my problem.
You can tell the difference in our backgrounds because of that as well. I see all kinds of cool stuff back there, and I've just got helmets.
No, I mean, your background is awesome. And I don't have a full life-size Stormtrooper, so.
Oh, you didn't get one of those ones from Home Depot, which for the price were actually pretty cool looking? I thought everybody got one of those. I have
nowhere to put something like that.
Oh, okay. I have one. It's still in the original box, unopened, out in the garage because there's nowhere to put it in here right now.
Yeah, that's what I'd be afraid of. I do have a life-size Grogu, though. He's right here.
Exactly. Very cool.
That's the biggest life-size I can get in this and in my limited collection space.
You're repping the helmets back there, so I appreciate it.
I got a few. I mix them up. Yeah. Let's see, who do we got? Oh, I forgot to turn on 3PO too. 3PO is back there.
Oh, is that the head? The Disney head?
Yeah,
that didn't sound right, but you know what I meant.
Let's turn them on.
Yeah.
Hi, 3PO.
Is my head on straight?
No, it's not. It is not on straight because you don't have the body. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, that thing looked really cool, but I talked to myself out of getting one. I don't know what I would do with it, so I'll enjoy it in your collection.
Right on. Yeah, I mix it up. I have like Kylo Ren's helmet. There's a few others. Captain Rex's is over here.
Oh yeah, that's a very good one. Captain Rex.
So there's a few in there. Yeah. I have a video actually coming for this new setup back here. I'll probably release it next Friday. I think I said it that last Friday, but it'll probably be next Friday. Yeah, no, the 3PO is awesome though. Like it's like motion, it's like touch activated, so you just tap him.
Oh no! I'm so confused.
Me too,
I was really impressed with how good the audio is on that, because sometimes the speakers on those aren't real good, but it comes through clear and it's really great. It's a good piece.
It is, and it's really loud too.
Yeah.
You seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, his photoreceptors are bright. I'm really happy with it.
Nice. And then the stuff that comes from Disney, it's at a reasonable price too when you pick it up, and it's good quality, so you can't complain.
Yeah, no, he's great. Yeah, so I guess let's go ahead and get right into it. We'll talk about our leading off topic tonight. I do want to mention, because I think I may have neglected to mention it earlier, but tonight is the last night, you guys, for March Madness. If you haven't submitted your list, get it in tonight. I don't know, if the cutoff is Eastern time, which would mean 9 o'clock my time, would make midnight Eastern time. So yeah, you don't have a lot of time. So if you haven't gotten your list in, get your list in. Just a reminder there. All right, let's start with Power Rangers before we get into Star Wars. So Power Rangers, what's going on with Power Rangers? Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I cannot, in good faith, I cannot continue this show until I get the correct background up there. I didn't realize it was the one from last week.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I'm like, that's not me.
Yeah, that was last week's.
Yeah.
And it doesn't automatically update. So.
Oh, okay.
No, I cannot. I got to fix that right now.
It.
So sorry, guys. I need a second to.
You know, while you're fixing it, I'd like to point something out.
Point something out, please.
The general geometric design you have here with the like that looks like the rays of light going up towards the top with the solid bottom and the icon in the middle looks just like the flag for Arizona. Have you ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, look it up. You'll be. I mean, I love how you changed the colors too. But I thought for a brief second you did that because I used to be from Arizona. But I'm like, oh no, that's the new icon. So.
Next time I'll do it specially for you.
I appreciate that. Okay.
All right. So I'm just going through my downloads here. Okay, I airdropped it over. Yeah, I just can't continue. I cannot continue until we pick it up. There we go. There it is.
That, attention to details kicking in. Good for you.
I mean, I should have caught it before, but things. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. That's better. That is much, much better. But now I need to adjust the colors too, because let's go with orange.
Yeah, that looks good. Ooh, that dark orange is nice too, yeah. This is what editing in real time looks like.
There we go. That looks like a good match. Okay. All right. Anyway, Power Rangers Reignition. Continuing with the show. Hey, William. Good to see you. Hey, Trevor. Good to see you. All right. Oh, man, I did the balloon thing. I didn't even mean to do the balloon thing.
Is that because of your phone? Is that what it that?
No, it's just
weird.
It's just a reactions thing on in the streaming software.
Oh, that's from live stream. Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, my phone is over here. It's just chilling. Let's see here. Okay. Power Rangers Reignition. What does that mean? I have no clue, but we're gonna find out together. All right, so Power Rangers have been reignited, I guess, by Playmates. They haven't been really a thing for some time, I guess. But now Playmates has obtained, I think, as I understand it, Hasbro owns Power Rangers, right? Like they own that whole thing. They bought it several years back. But now they're not making product anymore for Power Rangers. So they're sub-licensing out, or they're licensing out rather, to Playmates, who's going to be making all of the product.
Huh.
So basically there's a brand new I guess I don't know if it's a campaign or a marketing thing or what exactly, but they're calling it Power Rangers Reignition. Now I don't know if you heard about this, Paul, but there was a toy show that was just going on, I believe, in Germany, I want to say.
Okay.
And there were different vendors showing off new product. And supposedly they had the Power Ranger, the new Reignition stuff on display there, or some of it on display.
Okay.
And from what it sounds like Playmates is taking more of an approach of not so much collectors in focus, but more like kid focused. But as I understood what people saw there, I saw comments. What they're doing is
yeah,
they're not going the most kiddie focus, I guess. Like there is still a little bit. They're trying to appeal. They wanted to appeal to adults too, but it is more kid focused than what Hasbro was doing with their Lightning collection, which is their, you know, their more collector oriented 6-inch line that they were doing. So yeah, I don't know how far you've ever gone into Power Rangers. I mean, it is something that I dabble with. As a kid, I really liked it, like in the mid 90s. That was like one of the last things I was really into before, you know, I went like all in on Star Wars. Yeah, new product on the way from Power Rangers, and
Interesting.
it's going to be made by Playmates.
Now, it's my impression for the most part that kids these days, I think my daughter's generation, and she's 28, they were the last ones to really like, you know, tactile response toys and things like that. Now, isn't everything like screens and either that or Lego? If they're aiming this at kids, what's your impression of how well it's going to do, especially if they're not going all in and they're trying to market it to maybe adults a little bit too? That just sounds like a recipe for disaster to me.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, Hasbro is not making them anymore, probably because they weren't making money off of it, right? So
Yeah.
I don't have high expectations for what Playmates is going to be able to do.
Right.
Maybe Hasbro was just like, hey, we're done with this. We can at least make a little money by licensing it out. And Playmates, maybe they're going to take their shot. They're going to see if anything they have any success, I assume. And if they do, they'll continue with it. If they don't, then it probably won't last all that long. But that's just my guess.
I'll have to watch your channel to see how they do, because if they were popular in the 90s. I was already in my mid 20s and I don't know anything about Power Rangers and was never into them. So I'll have to check back with you and see the post-mortem on whether or not they did well or not on your show, Victoria.
Yeah, I guess I guess we'll find out about that. But yeah, I'm you know, it's one of these weird shows like that. They're, you know, this trade show, right? That only certain people can go and see the stuff, but you can't take pictures, you can't take video. You're not supposed to take photos or video.
Right.
But then they can talk about it. It's just kind of, or I don't know if they can, but some people are talking about what they're saying.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the closest I got to Power Rangers was a girl I knew in high school. Her brother, I think his name was Danny Slavin, played one of them. I think the red one for a couple of seasons or something. And that's the only reason I knew anything about Power Rangers.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed the first iteration of like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like that was like 1993, 94, I think maybe into 95. But then I kind of grew out of it pretty quickly. Honestly, it didn't last like all that long, but it lasted long enough for me to be interested in toys, you know, 30 years later. So apparently it did have some level of impact and effect, but yeah, I'm eager to see the pictures. I assume at this point, based on what I've heard, probably not going to buy anything. I mean, I don't even know if we can really see them right now. Maybe we can. Let's see. But yeah, you can see them right there. The Lightning Collection Remastered series. So, I mean, that's I'm happy with that. Like, I don't really need like anything more than that at this point. I'm happy with that. The main Rangers are there. I did buy a lot of the villains and such, but I think Britt is here in the chat. I'm pretty sure she collects some of this stuff too. So I'm curious what her thoughts are on this. But I mean, I don't want to dwell on it for too long. But you know, I did want to mention that, you know, we're getting some information as to what's going on with this line.
Yeah.
Brent says the Hasbro Lightning Collection was a good collector's line, but frustrating because they never released a team all at once. Yes, so that was one of the frustrating things, is that, you know, there's several iterations of Power Rangers, right? You have Mighty Morphin, then you have Power Rangers in Space, and I don't even all these other ones that I'm not even sure about. But yeah, they wouldn't release a wave with like just one focus, right? It would be a mix from across the years, like in each wave. So it was very hard you had to be really patient initially to build up your team. So.
We talked about this last time I was on, when we were, you know, vetting out what would be a perfect TVC wave. Do you remember that? And I was like, I just want all of the same group of the same people that were all at the same time, team type of thing. And I see that's not an unusual complaint.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great thing. They used to do that like back in the day, you know. Yeah. They used to do that, and it was awesome because, you know, instant mini collection, right? But they don't. I guess the closest they're doing now is like the Return to Tatooine, and just kind of doing like a year-long sort of.
Yeah.
So it's not the same thing as a themed wave, but I guess at least there's a focus, which is kind of nice to see.
Every now and then they'll hit it out of the park with the mix that they do. Like this last wave we just got, that if you're going to do a mix, that's how you do it, if you ask me. But other than that, I think you should, go back to the team concept.
Yeah. Britt says, I'm happy with my lightning collection. It'd have to be something pretty good from Mighty Morphin to get me to dip in. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because Obi-Wan says they are counting on you millennials for the Power Ranger stuff. I wasn't even interested in Turtles era base. I wish them luck.
Yep.
Yeah, Turtles was huge for me when I was like little. Like
really
huge. Really. I had like the bed sheets and all that.
That's awesome. Do you still have them?
No. Well, my mom might come, or I don't know, but
nice.
I think she had them for a long time. I don't know if she still does though. But yeah, I remember like one of them came to like a grocery store or something. Like it was somebody in a big costume, and I took a picture with them. I think my mom has that.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I did have a lot of the toys.
Right.
It was kind of like I'm kind of going down a path that I didn't intend to, but like at first it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ghostbusters was like the really first big one, like for me, like the real Ghostbusters, the cartoon.
Okay.
And then it became, I think it was Batman after that, because that was like 89 Batman when that came out. And I shouldn't have been in the theater to see it at 3 or 4 years old, but I was there.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was Turtles, like hardcore, like TMNT. And then after that, I think it was it after that? It was probably Jurassic Park. And then I think it was Power Rangers, I believe. And then like hardcore into Star Wars. And that just like was the permanent, like that was like the last, like it never ended. I never grew out of that.
Yeah.
I didn't really grow out of the other ones either. Just that other things came along that like took my attention away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, X-Men. Thank you, Charlie. And hi, Charlie. X-Men. I forgot about that. That was another like a mini fascination, like probably similar in size to Power Rangers, I would say.
Yeah, I see you have the main team right above your Power Rangers behind you too. Your X-Men. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They are right there.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to point on camera. I'm not very good at it. Right there.
5 years, I still haven't gotten it right, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm not going to spend the whole show on Power Rangers, but that's the gist of it. They're doing stuff, and we're going to see what they do. Next thing I want to mention is Power of the Force. Not Power of the Force, again, Power of the Force. Because like I said earlier, apparently they can't market some other thing, right? It's got to be something that's recycled.
They've got like 6 words and they use them interchangeably. The Legacy Vintage Collection, the Vintage Legacy, the Vintage Collection. You're like,
So Power of the Force is I guess it's a marketing campaign. This is from StarWars.com. Fuel your fandom with the Star Wars Power of the Force. I keep wanting to say Power of the Force. Power of the Force product campaign. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. Imagination, creativity, adventure. These words not only capture some of the magic of Star Wars and its multi-generational fans, it also describes this year's Power of the Force consumer products campaign. It's a big year for Star Wars with highlights including Star Wars Celebration Japan, the release of Andor Star Wars Story, Season 2, the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, and the 10th anniversary of Star Wars The Force Awakens. To celebrate, Power of the Force is a year-long campaign showcasing some of the saga's iconic ships, favorite characters, memorable droids, and of course, lightsabers. Oh yeah, we're here for the lightsabers. Okay, so first of all, they're mentioning Andor Season 2. They're mentioning Revenge of the Sith being 20. And they're mentioning The Force Awakens being 10. Oh, darn balloons. I did it again. Okay, so they're mentioning these things. So I fully expect Hasbro is going to make product to celebrate all 3 of these media anniversaries and releases, right? Right. I'm fully expecting.
Oh, Victoria, you've been here long enough to know better.
You're taking my optimism. You're breaking my heart. Yeah, I mean, I know they didn't really do that for the Phantom Menace last year, at least not for
Yeah.
Vintage Collection. Not a single figure in Vintage Collection for the
Yeah.
Phantom Menace, which, again, I'm that demographic that, like, I really, really, really wanted to see something. But no. And then even before that, Empire Strikes Back, like, they barely touched it.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi was a little better. But then even like when they did like Clone Wars, what was it, like Clone Wars 20 back in 2023, they didn't really do anything with that either.
Yeah.
Black Series tends to do a little bit better. Even Retro Collection gets some stuff for that.
Right.
But yeah, so Hasbro. Okay, hang on. Hasbro. Victoria's Cantina, lifelong collector, fully anticipate that you are going to release Andor Season 2 action figures in the Vintage Collection specifically, the Black Series and I guess Retro as well. I fully expect Revenge of the Sith 20 this year. Come on, don't let me down. Revenge of the Sith 20. You got to mark it somehow. We need updates on some of these classic main characters. And The Force Awakens 10. I'll give you a little more leniency there. But I would not at all complain if you filled in some gaps with figures we really need from that movie. Thank you, Hasbro. You're the best. All right. Back to our regularly scheduled.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, so Power of the Force, you guys. All right, so what are they showing? An AT-AT driver helmet. There you go, Paul. There's a helmet for you.
So here's the thing. I don't do the Lego helmets at all. Because I consider it to be Lego and not helmets. But that one is so good looking. I'm actually tempted. Where I would put it, no idea. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I don't buy this stuff either. I don't really do Lego. I mean, every now and then I'll buy it's very, very, very rare. But yeah. So okay, is that the only thing here?
The other thing is it's really small.
And of course it's an adult building, and I love that. I do love that.
Yeah. It's not going to be a kid, that's for sure. Yeah. They know better. And that was the other thing that was negative about it. See how small it is comparatively? I don't know if that's it's not, it's like 1/16th scale, 1/50th scale. I don't know what that is, but it's
I don't even think my dog could wear that.
Right. Yeah, so I'll probably just enjoy that in someone else's collection as well.
I mean, Lego are fun, but for me, like, I feel like it's actually pretty therapeutic to assemble Legos, like to build something. But then once I'm done and it's built, it's like, okay, now what do I do with it? Like,
right.
I don't have room to display it. So it's like, what do I do with it?
That would be the problem I would have. If I did build it, which I haven't built Lego since I was a kid, I'd have to put it together and then, okay, cool, and then sell it or something. I don't know what I would get that done.
Yeah. And it says, these aren't the droids you're looking. Okay, I don't know what that's in reference to.
Yeah, because none of the messages had anything to do with A New Hope in this campaign. So let's throw that in there.
Yeah, I don't know what this. I mean, okay. I do like the graphic. The graphic is pretty cool. Right? It looks kind of Ahsoka-ish, like the end credits.
Yeah, it looks like World Between Worlds over there. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Is that a hint as to what's coming? I don't know.
Your guess is as good as anybody at Hasbro.
World Between Worlds. Right. You heard it first here, you guys. R2-D2 is going to visit the World Between Worlds in Ahsoka Season 2.
Yeah, actually, they're going to re-release the Power of the Force line. That's what that means. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to be popular after this.
3PO, what do you have to say about all this?
I feel so helpless.
Yes, that thing is like one of those fortune teller things. That's the appropriate response for right now. Yes.
Oh boy. Britt says that the site just always has a quote at the bottom. Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Fair enough. Random quote number 6.
How's it going, Tariq? I have a Lego Yavin 4 to build with little space. Let's just play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is
so that's all we know right now. You don't have any more insider information, huh?
We just know that they're mentioning that Hasbro is going to do vintage collection for The Force Awakens, The Revenge of the Sith, and Andor Season 2. No, I didn't say that at all. But that's what we read, right? When we see that.
Yes, exactly.
When they say we're celebrating this, and this. We think as collectors,
right?
Oh, Hasbro is going to be doing this. So, don't steal my joy, Hasbro, right now. Like, if you're not going to do it, just wait till like December to say you're not going to do it. like basically
Right.
repeat last year.
And then in the middle of all this, they released Reva's lightsabers because, of course, you're like, okay, that's fair enough. All right.
That was a Lucasfilm request. That wasn't Hasbro.
Fair enough. It's about the
But
same. Yeah.
yeah. So Power of the Force, not Power of the Force, Power of the. Even when I say Power of the Force, it sounds like I'm saying Power of the Force. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm being nitpicky.
Power of the Force sounds like something you put into a car to make it go faster too.
Or like
Did
a
you get
paper
Power of the
airplane
Force?
or something.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and close that off. Power of the Force. All right. I'm just going to do a quick run through the comments, see if I missed anything interesting. I always miss things interesting because I see it on the replay. I'm like, oh, I didn't see that comment.
Yeah.
Holonet, good to see you. The 3 3/4 inch vehicles aren't very friendly prices right now, especially the aftermarket.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. But we still want a new version of Queen Amidala's Royal Starship.
Oof. That'd be a couple of dollars. They'd have to throw in some
$800
carded figures for me. Yeah.
Stainless steel version, $800.
Yeah, stainless steel. It weighs 130 pounds. Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
packed with all of the handmaidens. It was packed with Queen Amidala and Padme and Jar Jar and Anakin.
Yep.
And
5 astromech droids. Yes.
5 astromech droids. And it comes packed with,
Yeah.
who else was on there? Who
Well,
else
heck,
was Captain Panaka.
There you go. Let's throw in an
Rick
Obi-Wan and what's his name? Yeah, and Qui-Gon Jinn. While we're at it, let's just do the whole. Yeah, let's do the whole scene, girl.
Obi-Wan.
There's your team right there.
Yeah, that's the crew right there.
And one of them comes with a little Chapor snippet that if you open it up, you lose immediately.
It's like the size of the shift knob that came with the Razor Crest Grogu.
Right, exactly.
It's not the shift knob, but that's what I.
I heard what you said. I knew. Yeah.
Yeah, you knew what I said.
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah. Shift knobs was in my car, not in the Razor Crest.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll file that one under things Hasbro will never do.
We can dream. This is the Dreamcast tonight. We're just gonna
we're manifesting this positivity out into the universe with the hopes and optimism and expectation that Hasbro will do right by us longtime collectors. But the reality, we know the reality. It sucks. But
yeah. It's kind of like being part of a crowd now, though. You know what I mean? We all huddle together, and that's what keeps us all binded and melded together. Not getting what we want from TVC, so it works out great.
Yep. It's better to have the area of Anakin that he's cold. Yeah, you come from a warm planet, Anakin.
Right. Far too warm for me. Taste. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it would be cool. I'm still on this tangent here, but if they magnetize the top of the starships, the astromech droids could stay on top of it. You know
what? That's actually very smart, because if it's stainless steel, you're going to have to do something, because stainless steel isn't magnetizable, is it? So yeah, or you could glue those little rare earth magnets to the bottom of the droids. Look at us. We need to work for Hasbro. We got this. Let's go over there and make one for ourselves. Let's do this.
Hasbro, you heard it here first. We'll do it. Yeah, for free. No, not for free, but we'll do it. All right. So let's see. What do we got next up on the list? A TVC reveal. Okay. So, last week they had that live stream, and, I was on here talking about this stuff they showed off. Some pretty cool stuff. But this week, again, from this show going on in this trade show going on in Germany. It better be Germany. I keep saying Germany. I hope it's Germany. It's embarrassing.
I think it is. I think I know which one you're talking about. I think it is Germany. You're right.
Yeah. So anyhow.
You know how you can tell you're right no matter what? It's your show, so you're right.
Yeah. I try to be, even when I'm not. Okay. So Toy Fair Germany, they have this image that somebody took. Remember, you're not supposed to take pictures, right? But somebody took a picture because I love that there's a logo. Whose logo is this? Fantha Tracks. They put their logo over a photo they didn't take. I love how they do that.
Yeah.
Little Fantha Tracks. So yeah, here's a zoomed in look right here of Luke's Landspeeder, which has not been officially announced or pipelined or anything.
Right.
But there is a picture here of the Landspeeder in any case. There you can see some figures in it. That's the brand new Luke that recently came out. Presumably that's the new Obi-Wan that's on the way.
Mm-hmm.
The R2 looks like it's probably the one that we already have, and then 3PO looks like the one we already have as well.
I was gonna say, because that C-3PO doesn't look new.
No, he looks horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely not the droid we're looking for.
Right.
Yeah, so the Landspeeder. Apparently this is new. Of course, Hasbro is focusing on a return to Tatooine, so I don't know that it should be any shock that the Landspeeder is part of that initiative. So, I mean, it looks great. It looks it looks very proportionate compared to especially like the last TVC one they did, which isn't bad, but it's a little bit crowded when you put your figures inside it. And then, of course, there was the Power of the Force one back in the 90s, right. And that one was just, I think it was the Kenner mold.
I was going to say, that one would just look like the Kenner one from back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. So this one is it's probably going to be the Black Series one scaled down, I assume, which that one was really nice. I bought that one because I really liked it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so this is like a bit of a I don't want to say unintended leak because people saw it, right? So right. It's not a leak for people that were in attendance, but it's a leak for everybody else, I assume. But yeah, so this is our first look at the Landspeeder and our first look at the old C-3PO that needs to never come back in any form.
Now, if they packed this, Victoria, how would you have them do it? Like with some carded figures or like a bigger thing, or like what would be your druthers if this was coming out? What would the whole package look like for you?
I have to be careful what I say here.
Okay.
But what I will say is take a look at the Howler. Take a look at the Blurg. Mm-hmm. Take a look at the what else? The speeder bikes. Yeah. All of those came with a deluxe figure.
Okay.
Or not a deluxe necessarily. The more recent ones, like the Howler. I was going to say the Growler. The Howler is going to come with the deluxe Sabine, right? But those other ones came with semi main-ish characters or troops that were pertinent to those beasts or vehicles. Mm-hmm. So I would just say apply that to the Landspeeder, and that should give you a pretty good hint of what would be packed with it.
Basically what you're saying is if you had your way, you would get the Landspeeder and you'd also get the carded, maybe even the carded deluxe figure in the box with it, like we've been getting with like the new, what was it, like the A-Wing or Y-Wing? What was that new fighter called that had the droid? I have it, but I forgot what its name was. And they all come with like the vehicle and then a packed in carded figure. So that's kind of what you're hoping for if this is a real thing?
Well, it is a real thing. But
okay.
I would say apply the logic to I guess the best comparison I could do would be Sabine, right? She's coming with the Howler, but she's a deluxe Sabine. Okay. So I would say that's probably the footprint going forward for any of these like somewhat small vehicles or creatures.
Right.
So just apply that set, the principles of that set to this set with the Landspeeder, and that should give you a good hint of what's in there.
Got it. All right then.
But yeah, and we know whose Landspeeder it is, so that's all I'm going to say.
All right.
But yeah, so it's we know this Obi-Wan's coming. I'm really excited for this Obi-Wan, like really, because you know we haven't had a new one since the Legacy Collection, and that was in 2009, I think, when we got that figure. 2008, 2009, I think it was 2009. And he's way overdue. So we definitely need this new Obi-Wan that we know is coming.
Right.
We need a new 3PO. It kind of pains me to see this 3PO in this set, or on this picture anyway. Mm-hmm. It's just like, gosh, man, it hurts because it kind of makes it real for me that there's not going to be one before this speeder comes out, right? Like if there was, they would probably put the new one on this picture,
right?
So to see this one from 2010 that is just horrible. That's a little frustrating.
Yeah, people earlier, like when we were first starting out, we're talking about the March Madness 25, and a lot of people were talking about we need C3PO, we need 3PO, we need 3PO. So you're definitely not alone in that venue, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. So anyway, that's the Landspeeder, and I think it looks nice. I want to see more of it. Obviously, and I'm sure we will, before long. Because it is the return to Tatooine year. We're getting the Cantina fall 2025, which they say fall, but look what happened to the Ghost. I didn't
Some
get
people
mine
still
till
don't have
January.
theirs. Yeah, some people still don't have theirs.
Yeah, some people still don't have theirs, and that's little.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. I mean, I feel like they shouldn't ship them until they're all ready to go out. Like save them up, like pile them up, and then one day, like, okay, they're all going out. Everybody gets them, and that's that.
Interesting.
But yeah, so I'm happy to see this, and you do have to wonder if beyond the Landspeeder, there will be any other deluxe type vehicles or creatures that might fit the return to Tatooine theme.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see what they come out. This is interesting to me as well. The way they've lit it and everything like that, it's like super highly studio photography. So I'd like to see what it ends up looking like, in hand, if it's that good.
Yeah. I'm looking at this picture too. It almost looks to me like they fixed a continuity issue in the movie, which I know George Lucas was not thinking about the fact that, even though there are two twin suns on Tatooine, that the glass reflection on Landspeeder was only reflecting one sun.
Yeah.
But it looks like in this picture, they were brilliant enough to add two suns glaring onto the windshield.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. I didn't even catch that. That's pretty, maybe, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So good for them. Maybe it was our friend Matt Cohn, who works at Hasbro, that did this photo. I'll have to ask him if that was, well, I have to wait until it's official, right? But
right. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I'll ask him about that detail for sure. I think we need to get him on the show, actually. Yeah, no, I welcome like more, because they have not touched the smaller vehicle, smaller like creature segment for a really long time. It's only like within the last year that we started getting the speeder bikes, and we started getting the blurgs and the growlers coming, and so I think it's a really great expression, so to speak.
Yeah, the howler's coming too. Did you know that? In addition to the growler, the howler's coming also.
Did I say growler? Oh god.
Yeah, it's all good. I think it's funny.
The howler. I'm thinking of a growl. You know what a growler is, right?
Oh yeah. I drink. Yeah.
I'm
yes,
getting
ma'am.
it. It's the weekend.
Yes,
I'm getting ahead of myself here. I gotta finish this show first. Yeah. So
yeah, you know what? I thought for about a year and a half there, Tim over at Bosco's Bounty was just going to burst at the seams if they didn't do a blurg, and then that kind of like opened the floodgates, I think. So yeah, we'll see what they come up with. Yeah,
we'll see what they come up with. Charlie says, "We are in the cantina. Everyone needs a growler." Yes, the growler with Mountain Dew Code Red. Code Red, everybody.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna do a little run through the comments, see what everyone else is saying. Do the stormtroopers look new at least? Oh, okay. Thank you for mentioning that, Dodgson. I must miss that detail. Yes. So looking at the picture, there are troopers in the photo. If you look at the top right, it looks like a stormtrooper.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at the top left, let's see if there's a better image over here.
Oh, yeah, you can see one up there.
It's way at the top, but you can see there are two sand troopers up there. We go back to this photo, top left, you can see it's got that like long barreled blaster thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the names of these weapons.
I think that's the DL-14 based on the MG-42 from the Wehrmacht in World War II. At least I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the new host of Cantina Chatter and Cantina Social Hour, Paul's Collectibles.
Yeah, I spent too much time in the Army, so anyway.
No. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, that I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a new sand trooper. I don't think they would just. Well, then again, the old C3PO is on this picture, so I can't say for certain. But
yeah,
you'd have to assume that with Return to Tatooine, we're going to get a new sand trooper.
I would love that in the TVC. I'd buy 12 of those, and I didn't even take them off the card.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to happen. Brent says, can we tell if that's a new Landspeeder? I don't know the older mold all that well to tell the difference. Let me grab mine. How about that? Paul, you are in charge for the next 10 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. So the funny thing is I'm looking at this picture and I actually already have something that's in that picture. And then Victoria does like a show and tell towards the end. I think that's the thing that I picked to show. So that'll be fun. But man, wouldn't it be great if we got a bunch of sand troopers with this Landspeeder and a new C-3PO, and I can just keep on dreaming. But yeah. Beta Ray Bob, a barbell hip stormtrooper sand trooper would be nice for sure.
All right, so I grabbed the thank you for holding down the cantina. I was going to say the fort, but the cantina.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's take a look. So here's the old one with that nasty old 2004 Luke in there.
Yeah.
And you know, this one isn't bad. It's actually pretty decent. I should hold it to the camera, not up to the monitor. It's all right. I want to compare it. So let me look. Let's zoom out of my face so I don't scare everybody off. All right, so we have the image right there.
Oh, that's a good point. Look at that. Does yours have the cutout that's right beneath Luke that's showing in this picture? And then forward of it, there's two scallops as well. Does that one, the one you're holding, have that?
No, does not.
Yeah, I think it might be a different mold.
Yeah, it looks like it's a different mold. The main tell for me, if you look at the windshield, it's very what do we call that? Concave, very rounded.
Oh yeah, okay.
And if you look at this one, it's more flat.
Oh yeah.
And you can see Luke's head like way over the windshield, right?
Right.
And if we go back to the other one, it's still over the windshield, but not to the same extent.
Right. The one in this
But
picture is much more convex. Yeah,
I think that rounded windshield is the biggest tell that that's a new sculpt.
Yeah, and July agrees with you. The height of the bubble is what's giving it away for sure, at least in that respect.
Yeah.
A bunch of people are saying that.
Yeah, so it's definitely it's definitely brand new. I love how Luke just has that rifle just chilling there on the top. It doesn't blow off or anything.
It's all good. I got a permit for this, officer.
Sand troopers don't seem to mind. They don't even ask about it.
Right.
Let's see here. Salt and pepper shakers over C-3PO's head.
And way in the background, I see the canisters against the wall back there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see that. That's funny. Good observation. Allison says they're focusing, hoping there's more Tatooine love in their next set of announcements. I hope so too. I really do. We have Scott 9 with us, really ready for that 3PO and Landspeeder. Well, that's the old 3PO once again, but we're very hopeful that we see the new one soon. If there is a new one, which we don't know that there's a new one. But again, if there was a new one, I'm pretty sure they would have put him on this picture. So I don't think there's going to be a new one anytime soon. Pico V1 says, I would love to return to the moisture evaporator accessory to come back. Yeah, that was a great accessory. It's crazy to remember that back then you could get a 3/4-inch action figure with a moisture evaporator.
Right.
And it wasn't a deluxe. It was just an $8 action figure. It's nuts.
They did that with a lot of those figures, packed them in with a bunch of stuff, and it was still just a regular figure. Oh, the good old days.
Yeah. Marino, how's it going? Kiami, hello. XP38, yes. I wonder if they'll put that on the box instead of Landspeeder. XP38.
Yeah. Well, anything's possible after the fire sprite thing happening. So.
Brent says 3PO is the most needed figure at this point, in my opinion. Now that we have the other mains coming, 100%. That's fair. Yeah, absolutely. Trevor says, "I'd love some moisture evaporators and other accessories in a pack."
Yeah.
Um,
Remember those world building packs they used to kind of do that didn't even have a figure, just had a bunch of stuff for your display? Yeah, I wouldn't mind a couple of those.
yeah. David says, "This is why I watch Victoria's Cantina." Well, we're glad that you're here. Battery Bob says, "We need a better base articulated protocol droid body, and C-3PO would be a great start to that." I mean, it's just money sitting on the table. They could do so many protocol droids with a new sculpt. Like, it's not even funny. Like, there's so many they could tackle.
Yeah. And then
And we
like
would buy
4
them
different
all.
versions of 3PO. Yeah. With one with a red arm, one with the half silver leg, one that comes apart that you can put on the back of Chewbacca. I mean, they could just go to town if they wanted to.
Yeah. A deluxe dewback would be cool. Yes, it would.
That would be
It'd
cool.
be awesome. Can't wait to see what we get for Return to Tatooine. Hope we get a Cantina or Jabba's Goons 3-pack. Yeah, a Cantina 3-pack would be awesome. You know, I mean, they did some really good ones that, you know, aren't quite TVC quality now, right, in terms of articulation, but they still look great. The sculpting on, like, some of those ones they did 2 decades ago, they still hold up really, really well. I would buy those in a 3-pack again, like not individually carded. More of it's like that new Anakin Skywalker Darth Vader set. Like, it was just like the 3 figures.
Right.
I think that'd be a really easy way to get more Cantina aliens back on the market.
Yeah. Especially with that HasLab out there, you know, people just want figures to kind of populate the background. You know, they don't have to be super awesome. I don't think. I think a lot of people would grab those.
Right. Dodson says, "Do any of you fellow Cantinians know which figures in TVC line have barbell hips, newer figures, or previous releases besides the Book of Boba Fett?" Quite a few of them have that now. Most of them have that these days. They're not really releasing anything that doesn't, unless it's like the Stormtroopers. Most of them do these days, but not. I don't know. Like, I don't have a list, but most of them these days have the new barbell hips. Barbell hips, Stormtrooper, Sandtrooper would be nice. Yes, I hope they make that change before they release the Sandtrooper. I really, really do. Hello, July through November.
Yeah.
Luke loves bugs. There is not room for 3PO's legs in the old one. Yeah, there's not. There's no room for his legs at all. Like, zero. What non A New Hope Tatooine stuff would you guys want? Not A New Hope Tatooine stuff. Well, Jabba the Hutt, I think, is that, well, no, he's out now, but, you know, I know nobody would go for this, but I actually wouldn't mind an update to the special edition Jabba the Hutt. That's just like a me thing. I know they would never do that, but I'd kind of like to see it. What else? I mean, Return of the Jedi, the Sarlacc is always like one of the first things that comes up on my list, because we need like a proper Sarlacc. We have the barge, we have the skiffs, but we don't have a good Sarlacc. And that's about it for me, I guess. I don't really have a whole lot else at the moment. I don't know if you have anything, Paul. But
you know what? I'm weird like you too. No one would buy this except for me, but I would take a huge play set of like someone said Pelimato, of her like landing pad, and then all the little stuff inside, all that world building stuff. I would buy one of those for a display. That would be cool. But I'm probably like one of 6 people who's interested in that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because no, that is true. We need Pelimato. Like, she needs to be done. Like, like thinking of the Mandalorian, they have it so well covered, but that's one that like needs to get done at some point. Not before C-3PO though.
Right. Priorities. Come on.
Rumor is that Dave Filoni movie is going to Tatooine. I mean,
isn't that like a law now? If you do anything with Star Wars, at some point you have to go back to Tatooine. I think it's like a rule now, right?
So, all right. Well, that's how we put the reminder in there. I'm glad it helped Holland at one. Okay, so Watto's place. Auto shop. Yeah, I mean, oh, you know, I wouldn't mind more like Phantom Menace stuff too. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. Yep. There's
Need
just
a-
so many possibilities for that. I mean that
yeah,
whole
like the
planet, yeah.
Lars and
Yeah.
Klieg Lars. We've never had Klieg Lars in his hollow
Right.
chair, hover chair, whatever it is.
Yeah. And you know, if you think about it, Mos Pelgo was so small, that could be all one playset almost. And you have it come with a crate dragon and what's his name re-released again, but without the armor on. I mean, you could just go to town.
Yeah, yeah. I think that figure was designed like with that intent so that it could be released. I don't know if they will because it hasn't been selling too well.
Right.
But
They're
I mean,
easy
the
to find
reason
at
it's not
Walmart.
selling, the reason it's not selling well is because they waited so long to make him. Like they missed like that window, right? When you have all these new Star Wars series and shows, the window is very like narrow. You got to capitalize on that window, otherwise, it's going to lead to instances like this where people will see it and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's from that show, 3 years ago."
It
Cool
also
to
doesn't
see it,
help
but
any. Yeah.
don't need it.
They made him a deluxe too, which, we were talking about that earlier. You throw in one extra thing and they charge you $5 extra for it. I think that really turns a lot of people off. So,
Right. And I think part of what also happened is that's totally a collector figure. That's not like a grandma buying for, grandkid kind of thing, right? That's a collector figure that people that watch all the Star Wars series, that collect the product, that's something they're going to buy. Walmart got those before anybody else did. And they got them very like months before anybody else did. So anybody that really wanted it, they went to Walmart, they got it. So it didn't really matter when Target got it. It didn't really matter when Amazon got it. People already had it. And that's why they went to like $7 through those stores. So they need to time it so that, everybody gets distributed a little bit better. But also I think the main thing is like the window, right? It needs to come out, like get it while it's hot. Otherwise, this is what happens.
Yeah, that figure was so easy to find. I actually found it in the Walmart in Anchorage, Alaska, and there was like 8 of them. So, it was pretty widely distributed, when I was traveling. So,
yeah. Oh yeah, poor Cobb. I love Cobb Vanth. So
yeah, absolutely. And I love Timothy Oliphant. I mean, he's a great actor. He was a great character. I loved the whole Back to the Wild West theme. They did our boy wrong, girl. They did him wrong.
It was so perfect. Like, yeah, I loved all that. Oh well. Hopefully he comes back in the Mandalorian movie. I want to see him again.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay, so let's go and move on to our next topic. Okay, so this is our main topic tonight. This is 10 Hasbro. I'm misreading my thing. 10 Hasbro Star Wars items needed in 2025. So when I say this, like for me, I mean announcements. I don't mean the actual product needs to come out, but we need to know that it's coming because, again, the window, the timeliness of Return to Tatooine, all that stuff. So I asked Paul to create a list of 5 things he wanted to see from Epic Heroes, Epic Heroes Retro Collection, Black Series, Vintage Collection, and then the role play type thing, which is like the helmets and lightsabers and all that. I did the same thing. I have my own list of 5 things that I want Hasbro to announce. I think they need to announce this year. So we're going to talk about that. So Paul, I think I'm going to have you go first.
Oh,
so,
okay, good.
Well, because everybody here loves Epic Heroes, and it's the greatest thing ever. Let's talk about that first. So you have a list of your 5 items, and one of them is something that you think Hasbro needs to release for Epic Heroes. Can you tell us what that item is?
Yeah, first of all, I had to look it up because I wasn't sure what Epic Heroes was. I don't own any of them. And then I had to go through and see what kind of releases they'd already done. And I think what they're missing and would go great in those little plastic tubes for display would be a Death Trooper. I think that would look really good in there. Yes, and if he could even come with a little doll, that'd be great too. But yeah, I think they're missing a Death Trooper in that line, and it's my favorite trooper, so that's where I gravitated to.
That would be cool. Yeah, I mean, the Death Trooper we've seen it so much now, right? It's been in Andor, it's been in Rogue One, it's been in Mandalorian, it's probably going to be in season 2. Yeah, Ahsoka, like the zombie ones.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, it's kind of become one of those iconic like trooper designs at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not getting sick of them. Of course, I'm a trooper guy, as you're well aware. And the more we get of any of the troopers, especially my favorite one here, the better, if you ask me. So yeah, love it. They need it in Epic Heroes. And if I found it, I would probably buy it, even though I don't even own any of those.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. Yeah, I don't buy these either, really. I think I've only bought one, and I'm lying. I bought two. I bought the Mandalorian because I wanted his Darksaber. That's the only reason I bought it.
Right.
And then I bought the the N1 because it was like $8 on Amazon. So I'm
You
like,
can't
why
pass that
not?
up. Right? Yeah.
It was like less than a third of the price. So I'm like, why not? Now, it just went straight to storage. I don't have anywhere to put it, but it was just kind of like too good of a deal to pass up, right? So anyway, okay, so that's your Death Trooper. Why don't we move to retro collection next? So let us know what does Hasbro need to release in retro collection or announce in 2025?
So some of the answers I'm giving you is because you put a metaphorical gun to my head and made me answer this question, because quite frankly, I think they need to get rid of the retro collection and just concentrate on our TVC. But all of that being aside, if we had to do the retro collection, first off, we have to stick to the original trilogy, because I think that's where the money is. That's where the bread and butter is. I don't need stuff from, Rogue One or Ahsoka in the original trilogy collection. And as I mentioned to you earlier, I also know where I was coming today. And part of being a smart person is knowing your audience. So I combine those two. And I think if you're going to do it and you have to have it, it needs to be the Tonica sisters.
Smart man.
Yes. We've got them coming with the Cantina. You know what? So we've got at least a basic idea of what they could look like. They're pretty simple figures overall. In the retro collection, they'd be perfect because they're original trilogy. Everybody loves them, and that's where you should stick. So yeah, if you're not going to get rid of the retro collection, let's do some Tonica sisters and get some more Cantina aliens for sure.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. We love the Tonicas, and they're doing it. What are they doing this year with A New Hope? Right, they have some stuff that's coming for retro.
Yeah, I saw I did see that it's a whole group again, right, in a box, and I can't remember all the characters, but it seemed to make sense to me if you're going to do that, as opposed to we got retro Acolyte figures, which didn't make any sense to me, but I'm not in charge, and it's not my demographic. So I was like, okay, cool. This is where we should be, right here. And on a side note, I did not realize that had such a hairy chest. Look at that.
Yeah, so it's Rebel Fleet Trooper, Han Solo in Stormtrooper outfit, Yavin, Luke Skywalker, Walrus Man, Sand Trooper, and Dr. Evazan. So
there you go.
Those are, it kind of makes, I guess it sort of makes sense, but
yeah.
If you're doing those Cantina, you're introducing Dr. Evazan, then come on. They they can obviously do the Tonicas now. Like, yeah, they absolutely need to do those in retro while they can.
Right. Stick to a specific scene, as I've talked about 100 times on here. Just fill out the Cantina with retro figures. Do all of Star Wars, the originals, but redone again, not all over the board. Because I don't know how many times I've walked into a store and just found, I think it was the Obi-Wan Kenobi ones. The retros from there were just spilling off the pegs, and they were all over the floor and stuff like that. I just don't think those two connect, the new media and the old style figures. So what do I know?
All right. So for Black Series, Paul, what does Black Series need to come out with in 2025?
I cheated. You said Black Series, but you weren't very specific. So here's what I did. I already have one of these, but I'm out for my helmet people right now, okay? And every time I release a video on a new Black Series helmet, if it's not something from the main line, everybody always says, and this is what I would pick, and I think they would make a lot of money and please a lot of people with this, is the TIE Pilot helmet. Because it's Black Series. It's technically Black Series, Victoria, so I'm cheating a little bit. And that's what you need to really. Do you know how many of those they would sell? I have an Anovos one, and I would buy one of these. That's how popular this is. In every video I get, it's like, man, when are they going to do a TIE Pilot? Wow, I wish they'd do a TIE Pilot. And after seeing the Darth Vader helmets, I know they can now. It's not much more complex. The Captain Rex helmet was another good example. They can do complex helmets like this, and they can do them well, and they're missing out. We really need to see this.
Yeah, it'd be really cool. Would you do it with like the chest piece and the hoses running to it?
So I will tell you that just basic, I would just do the helmet. And then later on, maybe if they wanted to get into that venue, whatever you want to call it, where you could start buying like the larger, almost the whole costume pieces, I would like to see both of those. But to begin with, just to get them flying off the shelf, I would just do the basic helmet, like is right above my head here, from Anovos, and get them out there. And then maybe the pack later with the hoses, or as a two-part thing, like you'll see in some. But yeah, definitely. They could run something like this. Some people are asking in the chat, you could do this for $130, just like the Captain Rex helmet and the Darth Vader helmet, easily. It's not that complex. And they have all the pre-molds for this, because if you look at the TIE Fighter pilot helmet, and I'm surprised that I've actually said this to people, like, oh my God, I never saw that. It's the X-Wing pilot helmet with the Stormtrooper faceplate and then a few other things. They have all the stuff. You can just mash them together, make sure it looks good, and get them out there. It'd be awesome. Sorry, I'm a little compassionate about that.
Yeah, no, that I love to see it. Yeah, I mean I think that's a great way to do it. Like just the helmet, and then maybe there's some you can add your own stuff, or they come out with it later or something.
Yeah, absolutely. If they in Black Series, if they wanted to start doing the packs for both the AT-AT driver, if they came out with that helmet, of course, and the TIE Pilot, like you said, that could be an accessory you could buy separately, or they could offer them all at once, depending on what your price range was and what you're looking to do. There's lots of Etsy shops that do that exact thing, where they'll sell you the helmet in the pack, and then you can buy like the little half mannequin to make like your own little realistic looking bust. I mean, 1-to-1 scale helmets is my thing, so I could talk about this for hours, so I'll leave it at that. But yeah, you could really do some things with this if you wanted to get into it, but the basic helmet would fly off the shelves.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, I cheated. Black Series.
Nice. Well, you get another shot here at Black Series for the role play segment. So
right.
And again, that's like lightsabers, helmets, all that stuff. So what would be your pick for that type of an item?
So there was a time, once again, this is my jam. I know about the helmets. I know what I get asked about a lot. I know what people comment on my channel a lot. And for the longest time, I would have said this one right here. That's not the Black Series one, but the Black Series came out with a really good Scout Trooper, and that made a lot of people happy. So now guess what I'm seeing other than TIE Pilot? Shore Trooper. For Black Series, a role play item. I'm not much into the lightsabers, to be perfectly honest with you, and the other stuff. Obviously, I'm a helmet guy, and the people that watch my channel for the most part are helmet people. I hear them asking all the time, and this is another one that you could do for 130 or less. And they've got the weathering down now as well. If you look at Captain Rex, I mean, it used to be dodgy there for a little while on the Incinerator and the Artillery Trooper, Stormtrooper helmets. It was like, what is this mess? But if you look at Captain Rex and some of the other stuff they've done, they've got the weathering down. This is 2, maybe 3 colors, nice, easy mold. Pow, fly off the shelves once again. And so this is my cosplay pick. And I know for a fact that there's a ton of people out there that are looking for Black Series to do this. And I don't know what's taking so long. So.
Yeah, that would be cool. I really like the Shore Troopers. I think, like, as far as anything that has been anything original trilogy era for troopers that we've seen, like any of the new ones, like this, the range trooper, the patrol trooper, the death trooper. I think this is my
turbo
favorite.
Tank driver. Yep.
Yeah, these are my favorite. I really like these guys. Just I don't know why. They just look really cool.
And I love how each of the new iterations, you can see something of some of the other helmets in it. Like you mentioned the Range Trooper. The Range Trooper is just a wider version of this. The AT-ST driver is this, but white. They kind of keep them all in the same family, so it doesn't jar you when it comes out, like they've done with a couple of the most recent releases. And if you did this, I think people would eat it up. Like I said, once again, I've got an Anovos one. I would buy this just to have it.
Yeah, this would be neat. All right. And then that leaves with, we say the best for last, of course. So that would be vintage collection. So what would you say is one thing that Hasbro needs to do for TVC this year?
Oh, so as you can see, most of my picks, or at least a couple of my picks, have been based on me trying to help out the community out there. You know what I'm saying? What I hear people saying they want. But this time I got really selfish on the TVC pick. Victoria, no one else is going to want this. As a matter of fact, I might start a riot in the chat when I say it because it's not the one that everybody wants. But those boxed 4-packs that they're doing right now, they just announced the ridiculous battle droids, which I didn't even order. I don't want it. I need that, but I need the Aldani troopers from the Andor series. Yes. They could have 4 different looking troopers in there, different races and things. One of them could have the white stripe and it wouldn't matter because you obviously need lots of sergeants. So you could buy 5 or 6 of these in army build. And if, they did them just differently enough so you could switch out heads and stuff, I'd buy 2 or 3 of these. And this is what I really want. And this is what I'll never, ever see because nobody else wants this and they're never going to make this. But I'm just dream casting right now. So that's what I would love to have.
Yeah, this would be a neat set to get. Famously or infamously, Hasbro took their stab at doing Cassian Andor in this outfit.
Yep.
And they gave him the completely wrong legs.
Wrong boots. Yep.
Wrong boots, wrong legs. So
yep.
Yeah, this would be their opportunity to fix that, right? If you came out with such a set, you could include a new Andor that has the proper legs in there.
Yeah.
Along with some of these other guys in there.
Right. And of course, this is my military background coming out. I get the biggest kick out of the militaries in Star Wars. And this is a good combination of all of them because these aren't even stormtroopers. These are just regular soldiers. And I've always been a big fan of seeing what the regular people are doing in Star Wars. And if they did it right this time with the jack boots instead of the officers' boots, I think, I don't know. I would love it. We're never going to see it, but you asked me this time and I'm being selfish. So there. I won't diss.
Nice. Well, that's what these are for, right? Being selfish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's a solid list. I think
Thank you.
you hit on some really key points there that people are asking for. And I guess I'll I'll go ahead and go with my list now. So I'm going to start with, I think I started you on Epic Force, right? So we'll start with Epic Force. Okay. So these are my 5 items that I think Hasbro absolutely needs to at least announce in 2025. I'm not a big Epic Force person, as I said, collector of that line. But nonetheless, that is part of the assignment. So, we're following it as specified. And for me, for Epic Force, one character they have not touched yet that, oh, there comes the dog, that they need to, that needs to be in, if you're going to have any kind of Star Wars action figure line that needs to be in there, of course, would be Princess Leia Organa.
They don't have Princess Leia in that line? Wow.
I don't think
I didn't
so.
catch that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So do they have any women in that line? Now that I think about it. Shoot, I don't think they might have like Bo-Katan or something, right? Like, I think, wow. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's shocking to me that they didn't have Princess Leia. Of course, when I was looking at the inventory, I was looking for troopers, so I didn't even pay attention. But you would think this would be one of the first ones they'd make.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will correct me if there is. I don't think there's a Leia, but
Brent says you're right. Bo-Katan is the only woman in the Epic Heroes line. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And she has a helmet on, right? So
yeah,
you can't see her face. So yeah, I think Leia. And I always go back to this outfit because it's my favorite Leia look. The classic, white gown with the hair, right? Like that's that's the Princess Leia look out of all of them. Even though there's some other ones we love, obviously. Sure. But
this is the consummate space princess right here, though. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, this is the best look. So that's my Epic Heroes, which I would buy it. I would break my rule and I would buy Leia, like 100%. I would. Mm-hmm. And if she looked like that, I'd assume other people would as well if she was wearing that outfit.
I agree.
Casual collectors, parents, whomever. All right, I'm going to go to retro collection. And I think this is the only one where our picks align. And that is, of course, the Tonikas. Because like I was saying earlier, if they're coming out with Wooher and they're doing Ponda Baba this year for retro in A New Hope. Mm-hmm. You got to do the Tonikas, right? Like, if it's a box set, like retro collection's been for a while now, there's no reason why you shouldn't do the Tonikas because it'll be part of a wider set, right? With other characters. You could include some main characters in there to help it sell if that's a concern. But for me, the biggest thing is now that they're doing the vintage collection, Tonica Sisters, finally, it's still hard for me to believe that. Like when I actually like say it out loud, like I'm like,
Right.
damn, they're actually doing the Tonicas finally in TVC. I start
Because you've
thinking
been
like,
asking for
well,
that for like a year or two, right? At least
yeah, the last year or so. Um, they have the chance to they have the rights to do them now. They can do them in retro. Like, let us see what Kenner would have done had they made Tonicas back in the day. Like, I would love that. I would love to see them do that. But the image I have here is from our friend Funky McClunky. He was on Social Hour last year talking about his customs. And so these are his customs that he has on his Etsy store. So I guess if Hasbro did them, they would look something similar to this, which I would love. I would absolutely want to see Tonicas in retro collection. If anything else, they've already done a lot of great stuff, and I hope they can continue to do more for A New Hope. Like, that's like the main thing I want to see retro collection continue in is A New Hope and the OT, but mostly A New Hope. And Tonicas would be like critical as far as A New Hope characters that were never realized in plastic form back in the 70s.
You and I see eye to eye on that. That should be an original trilogy at best, a New Hope at focused line, if you ask me. None of this new media stuff.
All right, so that's my pick there. Let's go to Black Series. So I did pick a figure for Black Series, and this is one that there's murmurs here and there about it, but nothing officially announced. And I think it needs to be officially announced because, again, you have that window. You need to capitalize on that window, otherwise you're going to lose your momentum, and that is the Stranger needs to be in the Black Series this year. It needs to be this year. It needs to be announced this year because they've already done all these other figures. And I kind of struggle with one of my biggest personal gripes with like Hasbro is that we always want the bad guy. We always want the cool new bad guy. It doesn't matter who it is. Balin Skull, Shin Hati, Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is. We want the bad guy. Like, we need the bad guy in our collection. And this is a bad guy that I think most people, even if they didn't love this show, they liked this character, the way he came across, the way he was portrayed. So, yeah, I don't want him to miss the window. We definitely need to get the Stranger in the Black Series, like ASAP. We don't want to miss out. Like, he's got to be done.
Yeah. Now, how would you work out the helmet situation on that? Would he be helmeted and that's it?
No, I mean, that's probably what they would do, right? But I think ideally it should be interchangeable head.
Okay, I agree, because you'd want to see the character's face on this one, especially because he played dual roles, right? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Would that make him deluxe? I don't know, but
probably.
Right?
Yeah.
Pay $5 more for the helmet.
For a head, yeah.
But it's probably the one time they'll have a chance to do him. So
yeah,
they got to go all out on him. Cut a corner somewhere else. But this is one that I think that you need to do it right if you're going to do it.
And quickly, as you said, because the way things are going with that, everything surrounding that, the momentum's going quickly. I agree.
Yep. So get on it, guys. Get on it.
Right. I wasn't a huge fan of the show, but I loved every one of the characters and the design of the characters, if that makes any sense. And I'd buy them all if that so.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so that's him. I'm going to keep this picture up because my role play pick, my one thing that I think Hasbro should do this year. I love this lightsaber. This lightsaber is awesome. The design of it is really cool. I got to see the prop at Comic-Con last year.
Oh, did you?
And
cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's like a dark. You can't really tell from watching the show, but in person, it's actually like a really dark blue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it obviously, if you watch the show, you know that it unscrews on the bottom, and it's got the smaller Shoto blade. Like, Hasbro would need to find a way to do that. Like, I mean, they probably wouldn't. I'm sure if Hasbro did, it would just be a regular lightsaber, but they would get so many more like cred points just by adding like the smaller blade in there, like finding a way to do that. would just give them like a lot more like street cred.
You know, you talked about it earlier, and the way I would go with this is magnets and removable blades. You could magnetize those two things together and then pull them out and then add the little Shoto blade. I don't think it's too far from being a reality as far as able to do, Victoria. And I'm like you. I'm, like I said, not a huge fan of the show, but when he busted that thing in half the first time, I about fell backwards out of my chair. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. 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 That's the one saber. Like, you know, I'm glad they're doing Balin's. I'm glad they did Ahsoka's last year, but you know,
Yeah,
like I said,
cool.
we always love the bad guy, right? We always want to see stuff merchandising around the bad guy. So
Oh yeah.
all right. So I guess I'm down to my last item. All right, TVC. I saved the best for last. Like I said with any of these are all things that I think they need to announce. Like bare minimum, announce them. Let us know they're in development. They're coming, you know. But we need to know that they're coming because that window, you know, is so important. This year is Return to Tatooine, right? That's the big TVC theme for the year, right? That's the whole thing they're doing is Return to Tatooine. We're getting the Cantina later this year. We have some A New Hope characters that are coming out that are, you know, very vital to the Cantina scene. We saw the leak or the reveal or whatever it was for the Landspeeder. And we saw a figure on the Landspeeder that is unacceptable. A 15-year-old C-3PO that just isn't cutting it, has not cut it for so long. So the one thing that Hasbro needs to pipeline to announce this year, without a doubt, without question, is C-3PO. And to illustrate this point, I'm showing a picture of the most recent C-3PO from 15 years ago.
Right.
TVC. And I mean, look at this guy. I mean, you know, back in 2010, he I don't want to say he was great because he's always been undersized. He's always been too small, too short. But at least back then you could say, okay, they tried something different. He's got a removable face panel, just like the one that I have back here sitting on my shelf. He's got the removable face panel. And, you know, that was novel. That was cool. But I don't think back then anybody expected that was like the definitive final C-3PO figure for TVC. Yet here we are 15 years later, and that remains the case. They have not updated this critical, pivotal, the very first line of dialogue in Star Wars history came from C-3PO. Yep. And he has not been given his due. And like somebody mentioned earlier, you could repaint this guy so many different ways, and that's just to keep him C-3PO. But then think about all the other protocol droids you could do. That I mean, you could feel. I mean, we've seen so many protocol droids in Star Wars, and you could do them any color and give them any name. Do a 3-pack, do a 4-pack, do a 6-pack. We don't care. We'll buy all of them. But C-3PO, absolutely 100% needs to be announced this year. Like anything else. There's other things I obviously want to see, but 2025 cannot end under any circumstances without a new C-3PO being announced by Hasbro for the vintage collection.
I agree. Can I ask you a question, Victoria?
Yes.
I have it, but I am not as studied and as well versed in these figures as you are. You know, between moving recently, everything, I've kind of lost track. But I have the TC-14, the one from Phantom Menace, on the Disney card, that protocol droid, the silver one. How does that one compare to this? Is it the same figure, just painted silver, or is it something else, or do you even know?
No, Disney's droids are different. They're their own sculpts. Okay. So it's a great figure though. I do have it. I did open it, and I don't know where I put it, but
yeah, so that's why I was asking, because I remember looking at it and thinking this looks better than what I'm seeing on the screen right here, because his legs look like chicken legs.
10 times better than this
one.
All right. Yeah, no, it's 10 times better than this one. And yeah, I love Adam's comment, because this is actually something I thought about a moment ago, that we could get that blue droid, that nice blue droid from the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants that droid for whatever reason, and that would be cool because he was like a new sort of. We hadn't seen a protocol droid that looked quite like that before.
Right. I agree.
So that I don't even know how to describe his paint coloration, but yeah, he was cool. So yeah, C-3PO, needs to be announced this year by Hasbro for the Vintage Collection without exception. It has to. You cannot finish Return to Tatooine without this being announced somehow. So here's putting out those vibes into the universe, those positive vibes that this is gonna be a thing.
We can once again, I call it dream casting. We can cast it out there and hope we reel something back in, right?
Out into the universe.
Yes. Big fan.
Cool. And I do want to ask everybody in the chat, what is one thing that you think needs to be announced for Hasbro Star Wars this year? One thing. Let me know. I'll call them out. But just in terms of like priorities, what needs to be announced in 2025? Whether it's for timeliness, whether it's for Return to Tatooine, whether it's for upcoming new media, just let me know what one thing you want to see is, and I'll read them out in just a moment. Yeah, but I think for the most part that concludes our topics that I had lined up here for tonight, and then we'll get into new acquisitions in just a moment. But yeah, I mean there's so many things that need to happen, but yeah, there's some things that are obviously like higher priorities than others.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. Brent says the Force Link C-3PO is one of the best we have. Yeah, that is true. The Force Link one is actually quite nice. It's not vintage collection quality caliber, but it's not bad for what it was supposed to be. It's not bad at all. Let's see. Sounds like you were both seduced by the hottie darks.
Yeah. Hey, I'm straight. I'd date him. He's just that good looking. I don't even care.
He is. Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
Michael, hello. Thank you for joining in. No worries that you're late. You can always watch the replay. There's always the replay. Probably be on YouTube far longer than I'll be around. So, yeah, and I see comments about the Bad Batch. I see comments about more Acolyte figures. Charlie the Unicorn says Keller and Beck.
Oh, yeah.
Trevor says Dryden Voss. I'm seeing comments about the Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Charlie also says Huyang needs to happen. Well, we have Huyang and we have Huyang, right? We have him in TVC and in Black Series. Do you mean Hot Toys needs to do Huyang? That'd be interesting. Dodson says for a vintage collection, either Bespin Han or Luke, or my third option is Boello. It's just a must. No scratch. The number one priority. Yeah, I mean any of those would be great. I'm always here for the obscure. Always. I'll never say no to an obscure character.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor also likes the look of the blue 3PO.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide like how we would refer to that coloration, because it was like metallic blue, but it also had almost like depending on how the light hit, it looks a little more green, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even know how you would describe it.
Call it chrome gradient blue. How about that?
We'll go with that. Sounds great.
Yeah, that's unnecessarily complex. So.
You heard it here first, people. Chrome, whatever
gradient
it was.
Blue. Yeah.
Chrome gradient blue.
There you go.
Battery Bob says 4-pack of random or repainted kit bashed aliens can help fill out Cantina backgrounds. Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Pico B1 says Ponkrell, Arleal Shoes, Bad Batch, and Skeleton Crew. Hey, you cheated. You picked all those things. July through November says Bespin Luke. Not a party for most people, but it is a personal one. I think once they get all of these A New Hope necessities done, I think they need to pivot back to Empire and get a lot of that done too, because we really need new versions of all of those characters. Scott 9 says Ponda Baba. I think I'm happy with the current one, but the head is way too small. If they just change the head to make it appropriately sized, I think it'd be awesome. So I'd be okay with them just doing that. But if that's an all new sculpt, then that'd be I would take that too.
I love how since 1978 they've had a hard time getting the head sizes on right. Ever since the original Han Solo with the two different, they still to this day get them all mixed up and messed up.
Right. The Black Series Ponda Bavo is really nice. I think that's the one that they like nailed. Like it looks perfect.
Mhm.
But yeah, 3 3/4 inch needs to be redone. David says Cantina figures. Well, obviously we want more of those. Adam says my 7 millionth plea for a new Huttslayer Leia tattooing character seems we will never get updated. I mean, I asked Hasbro point blank. It was Patrick. I asked him point blank at Comic-Con like years ago now. Like, is there anything barring you from doing that? Like, is there any mandate from Lucasfilm in place that says you cannot do it? And he said no. He said no. There's nothing like that. They can make whatever they choose to. I'm sure it has to get approved, but he said they can make what they want. So at that point in time, this is after all the whole like rumors and stuff, that they can't touch that character in that look was happening. But according to Patrick, there's nothing like that in place. It was just like speculation.
Interesting. Yeah, because there's all kinds of conspiracy theories about not being able to make scantily clad figures and all this other stuff anymore. So that's interesting to hear.
Yeah. Trevor says Arleo Shoes and Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. Yeah.
Brent says Ewok Ceremony Leia. Only ever have the Power of the Force 2 version Animon Mothma. You know which one wasn't bad though? Was the remember the Princess Leia collection? Are you familiar with that line, Paul, that they did back in the 90s?
I am not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the Princess Leia collection was, I think it was 4 2-packs that came with Princess Leia and then an additional character. I'll pull up an image here, but it was a really neat little like subline. Like for me, like at that age as a kid, like I loved that they did that. It was part of Power of the Force too.
Oh, okay.
Not
so
Power
she's
of
all
the
buff.
Force. Power of the Force.
Okay. So is she all buff like those characters are, or is she actually reasonably proportioned?
They weren't bad. They were
Okay.
actually not bad. I'm trying to find like an image with all, and probably eBay would be the best thing to look at. Let's see. So these were, I mean, they were definitely the 90s, so they're not they're not TVC.
Right.
I'm surprised that there's not an eBay listing with all the sets. But I found one. I also found something I was totally not expecting to see or looking for, and yeah, that's not cool. Anyway,
be careful.
on
The
eBay,
internet.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right, so here we go. So this was the Princess Leia collection right here.
Oh, okay. I've seen these. I didn't know they were called the Princess Leia collection, though. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
so there was
cool.
like Leia with R2, Luke
Mhm.
and Leia, Han and Leia, and Wicket and Leia.
And she's got a different outfit on every time, which I thought was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a really neat little, like, I can never imagine them doing this now, but this was, at the time, this was a really neat little thing. And I bought all of them back then. And yeah, so that Celebration Leia, I don't think she's horrible. She had like some soft hair and some plastic hair, if I recall. And then her outfit was really nicely done. She has soft goods for the skirt.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, back then that was a really neat little mini beat that they that they did.
That's pretty cool, actually. And the
Yeah.
soft goods on this, they actually look proportional. They don't look like a Endor poncho Leia. I remember that one with the poncho that's like 6 sizes too big for her and stuff. That looks really good.
Yeah, they were all really nice. Like I this too. I mean, again, they're 90s figures, so they're not. I say that, but then again, we have that C-3PO in that picture with the Landspeeder. That's pretty bad.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, this one in particular, I thought was always really nice. Like she had the soft goods, and then she came with R2. But they were all cool for the time. They were cool. Let's see. TJ Lewis says Phantom Menace, TVC, the Phantom one packed with young Ezra.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be a cool one. The Phantom definitely makes sense, since the Ghost only has the Phantom 2. That'd be pretty cool. All the Rebels pilots, Allison says, from Battle of Yavin. Ooh, all of them.
Oh,
All
that
of
would
them.
be
Okay.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Charlie says, yeah, Huyang and Hot Toys.
Okay.
They should do a proper TIE pilot, not the sideshow one from years ago. Yeah, Hot Toys needs to do a TIE fighter pilot. I'm surprised they haven't done a TIE fighter pilot.
Yeah.
Charlie also says about the tariffs that he's going to stop collecting because 10% is a big hit for Hot Toys.
For Hot Toys. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
10%.
But that adds another $30 to it practically, right?
Yeah, that quite a bit more.
Yeah.
Adam says the blue droid he thinks is RG-255 and his armor is blue carbiltium alloy.
Hey, I was pretty close. Just making stuff up. Not bad.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. Thank you, Adam. That's good to know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Scott9 says Phantom Menace small with modern articulation for Tatooine.
And they could put his body together with magnets so you could pull it apart if you needed to.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm on a magnet trip tonight.
Still talking about the magnets.
Yep.
Garen Dan would be nice as well. Yeah, Garen Dan. Any of the Cantina aliens would be great. Princess Leia collection was great. Leia with fabric outfits or details.
Oh, yeah.
Love those.
Yeah.
That collection was cool. It was such a cool thing. I loved it. I should buy those again just to keep them in the box. I really don't need to do that, honestly. But
do we really need to do any of this though, Victoria? Do we need to? Just go get them.
Fair enough. That is true. We don't need to do any of this.
Exactly.
We don't. It falls out of what are the thinking back to psychology class, in college, there's things people need, like shelter and food and water and certain things, right? Yeah. Toys aren't part of it. I'll readily admit I don't need any of them, but they make life a little more happy.
Agree.
They were actually in the doll aisle in our Toys R Us. Interesting.
Oh, that's wild.
Adds $30 to $60 depending on the figure. Yeah, it's deep. Did you
That's
guys see the Hasbro article about slowing down on toys? What does that mean for Star Wars? Sorry, can of worms. I did not.
I didn't see that either.
No, I'll take a look at that though later. That sounds interesting. Let's take a look at it now. Let's find it now. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I think they're doing it backwards.
I'm just going to Google this because I have no idea what it is. Hasbro slowing down toys, I guess.
They need to slow down on new media and catch up the toys, if you ask me, instead of trying to pump stuff out so fast. But that's backwards, if you ask me.
Let's see. I don't see anything on Google, so I don't know how recent it was. But if there's something specific, Chad, if you could message me that on Instagram, that'd be awesome. And if not, no big deal. We can talk about it next time. There's a lot of skepticism about that article, Allison says. Sounds interesting. Something I would like to look into a little bit more. But in the meantime, what do you say, Paul? We talk about a fan favorite segment of the show called New Acquisitions.
Absolutely. Sounds good to me.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Good. New acquisitions.
I love you have a video clip for everything. That's awesome.
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I do. For everything. Yeah. So, okay. New acquisitions. These are things that we've added to our collections since the last show, recent stuff. Like I said earlier at the top of the show, it's been kind of a slow week for me. There's not a lot, but I do have a couple of things to show. And of course, you guys in the comments, let me know what you've added to your collections this week, and I would love to call them out. But Paul, I will let you go first. What would you like to show or talk about that you've received recently?
Oh, okay. I was actually proud of myself because when I saw that leak photo, down at the bottom of it is something that they're supposedly is supposed to be kind of brand new, and I already have it. So I was very proud of myself. And that is, and I just released a video today. Oh, as you guys know, I'm the helmet guy, but the new Black Series Armorer helmet just came in. It wasn't due until May, For some strange reason, Big Bad Toy Store, every time they get them to me like months in advance, and I don't have I should have left the battery in it, because this one's like, I mean, it's not a bad helmet. It's not one of their best. It's sturdier and it's thicker and it's a good quality. But the problem with these types of helmets is like this one and the Moff Gideon helmet suffer from the same problem, in as much as they don't really look as Star Wars-ish as I think we're used to. So they tend to kind of divide the people in my comments. Some people are like, that's not anything I ever want. And then some people are like, oh, that's totally cool. But this time, this one, they did something different. There's a little button right here. And legitimately and literally, there's only 2 LEDs, one right here and one up here. They're just little yellow LEDs. When you push the button, they come on and they just slowly flash. And they're called welcome lights on the box. I have no idea what that means or why that's there, but it's still a fun helmet to have. You know, I mean, I collect them all, it's 3-dimensional, everything like that. But yeah, so this just literally came in this morning here at the house, and I got the video published on it. But yeah, so that's what I ended up with today.
Oh wow, that's cool. That is really cool. So what do you think of it? I mean, as far as like how does it compare to what we see on screen? Like, do you think it looks pretty close?
It's not as close as a lot of their other helmets, just based on the fact that you can see like where certain things were put in, and the horns are a little too starkly different than the rest of the helmet. If you look at Emily Swallow's pictures, you know, from her being in the TV show, the color gradient is just a little off, and the weathering isn't quite as robust as it is on her helmet. They did a good I don't know, representation of it. It's not 100% like you would expect if you were going to pay like $400 or $500 from something like Denuo Novo, but it's reasonable. Like most of these Black Series helmets are. If you're buying this because you want to join like the 501st Legion or something, you're out of luck. That's not what this is for. This is for display, or even giving to, you know, your kid, or maybe a Halloween costume. So for what it's supposed to be, Victoria, I think they did a good job. I just think the two things are, they're never going to be 100% accurate to the screen, especially, you know, in mold and color. And these ones tend to throw people off because it looks more like a Greek hoplite helmet. Someone said in my comments, you know, that if you cut away a little bit of it too, it looks like the thing that Russell Crowe wore in The Gladiator. And so consequently, these tend to divide the people in my comments. But overall, the 130, this one, sometimes, you know, they're 99, 130. This, it's thicker and it's a good quality. It's a good helmet. And so if you like the character, or you're a completionist, or, you know, you just really love the Mandalorians, this is a great helmet. And otherwise, you know, you could probably wait until it was on sale if you wanted it. So, you know, but yeah, it's a good helmet, but it's not, they're never going to be anything that's going to be like what I would call not even really a prop replica. It's just kind of, you know, loosely based on what you see on the screen.
Yeah, no, it looks cool. Is there anything else you want to show?
You know, sure. Can we talk about this really fast? Just for the definitive answer, because I did a quick video on this, and then a lot of people weighed in, and I think I have the answer. And then, of course, right after I did my video, about 2 hours later, I saw Tim over at Boss Bounty. This guy, they say he's a clone trooper lieutenant. This is from that latest wave, but he doesn't have the dots, and his helmet markings are incorrect. And so a lot of people are telling me that this is not a clone trooper lieutenant, despite what Hasbro asserts in the bubble. This is actually a Phase 1 501st clone trooper. And I got that whole case, but this is just the one I wanted to talk about. Do you have this one? And if so, what say you about what's going on here? Did the costuming people mess up, or did Hasbro mess up? Or do you care?
Okay, so yeah, I've been whining about that exact thing since that was announced.
Okay.
That is I don't know this 100% to be true, but I believe it's probably the case that Lucasfilm made them list it that way. Why? I don't know. They did the same thing with the Black Series one, which came out before this one. So yeah, that's Lucasfilm. I'm not sure why. I don't know if they thought maybe it would conflict with the typical what most people imagine as a 501st trooper, which, you know, is obviously like the Revenge of the Sith one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why, but I mean, yeah, that wasn't Hasbro. That was a Lucasfilm thing.
Okay, so you think this is not a mistake? This is deliberate, and although this is not accurate to the Phase 1 clone lieutenant, they made them call it that, and so everything is on here is as they wanted it. It's not a mistake. but it's not accurate either. Correct?
Right. That's it could be an error on Lucasfilm's part, but it's the way that it was
Interesting.
like decreed that they would refer to it as on that package.
Huh. Okay. Because some of the people in my comments were saying we've actually seen, because I've never seen them before, a Phase 1 501st Trooper in other media, maybe comic books or something like that. And they were saying, so yeah, that's what they look like. And Hasbro messed up and put the wrong thing on there. But you're saying that there's actually some back channel stuff going on. Interesting. It's so funny how one little figure like that, because I saw a couple of different videos and then, a bunch of my comments and then what Tim said and stuff. It's interesting how one little thing on one little figure like that can drum up such a huge discussion and level of interest. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Hasbro did like accurately label it back in 2008 during the Clone Wars line.
When I did my my video, I showed a bunch of the other lieutenants that you could get in those. There was multi-packs and this and that and the other, and they all have the proper markings and everything like that to show why I was confused. So yeah, they've accurately done it before in the past. So I was kind of wondering what was going on.
Yeah, it was in the show. It's even in the Clone Wars movie. So, but yeah, this is a figure back from 2008. And I have this figure, but it was it even says that Clone Trooper 501st Legion is the same exact markings and everything as this new one.
Look at that. I missed that. I have a bunch of these, but I wasn't collecting ardently back then, so I missed a bunch of them. Oh, this was also a Walmart exclusive. So yeah, if you hold that up there for a second, look at that. Yeah, absolutely correct. That's the same markings. That's the same guy. He should be a 501st Trooper. Interesting. Yep. Okay. Thanks for pulling that up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I'm full of any kind of useless information about Star Wars toys. That's me. I got that.
Tell me about it. This at this point in my life, this is what's important to me. Talking about plastic.
Yes.
So thanks. That helps.
I mean, the things that bring us joy.
Right. We don't need them. We just want them.
Right. Or we do on some. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, cool. Thank you for showing your acquisitions. I guess I'll go ahead and share what I've amassed over the last week. Like I said, there's not really. I'm trying to see, like, I'm looking around, like, what the heck did I get this week? I was actually really well behaved this week. There's like really not much that came in, but I will show. I'm going to go to my Instagram page to show on that note of what you were just showing us, because it's the kind of thing that I do. I have something that aligns with your clone.
Oh.
And that is 10 clones.
I saw you did this. I saw this post. I'm like, she's crazy as I am. I love it. You bought 10 of them. That's so crazy. I love it.
Yes, because I know, as do many of the fans, that, like we're saying, it's a Phase 1 501st Clone Trooper. So it's an army builder. And if they would have labeled it as such on the packaging, I guarantee more people would have bought it. They would have sold more. And I'm sure it's doing fine. But I have 10 of them I opened one. I have 9 left to open. So my goal was just 10. I think I could do a pretty good little shelf display with 10 of them.
Sure.
And then, yeah. So I bought 10, and I have my one carded sample as well that's going to go on the wall.
Right.
But yeah.
You have the same disease I do. I don't take them out of the package and I'll buy 4 or 5. Why? Because troopers.
Yeah, because troopers. And anything like the 501st, like I love that stuff. Like at this point in my collecting career, like there's so much new media that it's cool to see, but there's very few things I really I really care about as far as figures go.
True.
I could probably name them on one hand, but when you're talking about the original trilogy, you're talking about the prequel trilogy, you're talking about the Clone Wars, like that's where my energy and passion and focus for Star Wars is, like, honestly, in those areas, and maybe a little bit of Rebels, but like if they only made figures from, I'm gonna get flack for this, if they only made figures from here on out, from the OT, the PT, and the Clone Wars, I'd be happy as can be. Like that's just me personally.
Same.
That doesn't mean I'm not buying all the other stuff, because I am. But,
right, yeah.
There are some very desperately needed figures from newer media. But like just me personally, at this point, I've been doing this for so long that's I know very well that those are my passions, like those areas. So
So I enjoy specifically the 501st and the blue ones as well. And I have the black series, and then I have every version of the 501st that's come out in TVC so far, because my buddy Adisher Radpour was one of the live action phase 2 clones in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. You remember when they showed the storming? And so I embarrass him all the time. I buy him and I send him to him because he lives in LA, and I make him sign them for me. So I've got like pictures of him in that outfit and 2 or 3 of the action figures. And then when they released the new phase 2 that's coming out that specifically has the picture of the live action one, I bought like 8 of those so I could have him sign some of them and stuff. So I really like the blue ones, and I wish they had put 501st on this one as well. That would have been much cooler.
Yeah, it would have been cool. And I think that's all I got, to be honest. I don't have anything. I think that's all that came in was those. No, I'm lying. I got one more, A New Hope Luke that came in.
Did you buy the whole wave? I'm sure you did, right?
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Okay.
So this was a last week thing, but I know I showed it last week, and I still haven't opened it because I just haven't had time. But yeah, I did get the case of the latest wave.
Same.
But I did buy like several Lukes and Anakins too, because I'm a Anakin nut. But
there's nothing wrong with that. Do you what did you think, since we're on the topic and we've got a couple more minutes real quick, I had the Dedra Miro figure out as well because I'm a huge fan of all the Imperial officers. What did you think of this figure and how they did it, considering, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first female we've gotten in this outfit? Did you like it, or did it disappoint you?
I'm going to defer to the chat for this one.
Oh,
because the chat knows full well my feelings on it. In short, I was disappointed.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, Charlie's already saying it. Yeah.
Thigh gap. Okay. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, good point.
It bothers me that they took a masculine body, and they put like new torso and a new head on it, but she still has, I think, like the same legs maybe and arms. So they didn't do that for Black Series. Black Series got a whole new, I don't know if it's a whole new sculpt, but it might have used some of the what's her name from Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Imperial lady.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about, the one that was a spy. Yeah, they
might have used some parts from that figure. I'm not certain, but either way, they used female parts for a female figure. On the TVC one, they didn't do that because they're being, cheap.
I was looking at it, and not to seem creepy, but I just assumed they were going to pop the head off of one of the ones we already have and put Dedra on there, but they actually put a female torso, if you know what I mean, with some contours, and we'll leave it at that, which is what shocked me. And then I looked in the bubble, and there's no hat. She wears a hat half the time she's in the show. Where's my hat? It's just a little pistol. No pad, no nothing. So I was excited to get her, and I was excited that they put the torso. I just noticed the thigh gap now that you guys mentioned it, but no hat. No, it was like, so I guess, at this point over at TVC, we're just happy to get what we get as you watch with the Black Series.
Yeah, the hat would have been great. The cloak would have been great too.
Oh yeah, the overcoat. Yeah,
because then you wouldn't see the thigh gap.
Hashtag camouflage the thigh gap. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I missed that last time. So thanks for offering your opinion again for me. I appreciate it.
Of course. I'm happy to crap on that figure. Not happy to crap on that figure.
Right.
I'm sad to crap on that figure, but I'm
right. But it comes easily. Yes, it's well deserved. Okay, fair enough.
Got easily. It. Again, passionate about the little plastic people.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's see what our audience, our lovely Cantinians, added to their collections.
Adam. No doubt.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Charlie says the armor. I don't know what iteration of the armor that is, but awesome. David says he got the ghost. Finally, that's cool. That's awesome.
Oh, good.
I still haven't opened my ghost. I got it earlier this month, and I still haven't opened it. Oh, good.
Nor have I. It literally, we're packing a truck to move to Montana, and I get the thing on my phone. Your package has arrived. So I have to drive and get this big box, and we just wheel it up onto the moving truck, and it's been sitting in the corner ever since. I haven't even opened it.
Yeah, I saw your photos on Instagram that you had up of like the detox were emptied out and everything for your move, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. How did those travel, by the way? I'm just curious. Like if I ever
Well,
move.
if you look behind me, there's only two. And I'll tell you why. It's not as bad as you might think. I took all the little shelves out, obviously, but we packed them full of pillows and then wrapped them. We blue taped all the doors shut so they wouldn't rattle, and then wrapped them in blankets, and we put them in the back of my wife's SUV, but only two would fit. And then we put the SUV up on a trailer. So they traveled reasonably well, but that was because we overdid it. And like I said, we ran out of space, and my other two are still at my old house in Phoenix. So I'm going back at the end of February and switching with my wife. She's going to take over this house, and I got to bring those back up. So it was a pain. How do they travel is horribly, just to let you know. You have to go through a nightmare to get them 1,600 miles. And then even then we were praying that they worked. So yeah, if I just put them in the truck like normal stuff, I think I just have 2 piles of glass. It was not fun.
Oh wow. Did you disassemble them or did you just leave them intact?
So I have custom lighting in them, and to disassemble them, I would have had to, the lighting is stuck in there with adhesive. I would have had to pull out everything and undo. And I was like, you know what? If they get broken, I'll just deal with it. I'll come up with something else, because I did not feel like taking them apart. Oh, baby. Look at that puppy. Look at that. What's your dog's name?
Dixie.
Dixie. A cute little dog.
Say hi, Dixie. You're on camera.
Dixie's like, this was not what I was
You're on live. I was gonna say live TV, but no, you're on live internet. Live.
Yeah, it's TV. It's close enough. But yeah, so no, I didn't take them apart. We literally just took the glass shelves out of the inside and stuffed them full of pillows and blankets, and then wrapped them so there would be opposing pressure so the glass wouldn't go either way, and prayed. And I got lucky. Both of them made it. I have another one still in the box that I'm going to put together here, and then I'll get the other two up. And so right now my room is in a holding pattern. That's why it's so minimalist behind me, because I need to get the rest of my stuff up here. So
right on. Well, that's good to know. I mean, I guess on the flip side, if they didn't survive, you'd have to buy those new, what is it called? The new IKEA thing that they have.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at it, because people ask me all the time, like, hey, where are you getting detox? Nowhere. Not anymore. You're not. So
Yeah. I have 4. I have 3 here in the room, and then I have one that's not assembled yet. It's in the garage. It's been there for like over a year now, probably.
Same. Yep.
Yeah, so.
I have the 5th one is in the next room, still in the boxes 2-3 years ago. That's when
But yeah, mine have lighting and stuff that I installed too. So it's like I wouldn't want to undo all that. Like,
yeah. And you know how it is too. It's a 2-person job to put them together or take them apart, because you don't want to accidentally drop it. And then unless you're wearing like, rubber gloves or something, they're covered in fingerprints when you're done. So my wife and I she helped me. We just, like I said, we just stuffed them and put them in the back of her SUV on a trailer, and I got lucky. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, they are a pain though. Like,
they're so rickety.
Yeah, and I talked about a couple of weeks ago how I had taken everything out of mine over the holiday break. Mm-hmm. And I Windex all the glass and polished them, and put new figures in there and redid and I did a video for them that I published last week, and so it was just like a very long process to do just to do that. So
yeah.
But let's see what else. Mary says she got the TVC Jedi Master Indara and Dedra Miro. Cool.
Oh, cool.
Trevor picked up the Rebel Pilot 4-pack. I love how he's saying pilot, like that infamous typo.
Yeah, the Pilot pack. Yeah, it was the French version.
Hollandnet one says, I've seen a few vids about Hasbro giving up on toys.
Oh.
I mean, YouTubers tend to sensationalize stuff. Not me. I don't do that crap. But there are YouTubers that are very well known for sensationalizing absolutely nothing. Circulating stupid rumors and just creating a bunch of stuff that's not true.
I did it for the clicks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They do it for the clicks, and most of the time they don't even have the full story, or they're missing.
Or they just flat made stuff up. None of it was even based in reality at all.
They want things to fit their narrative. It's just let's see. July through November says, I got a great deal on a 7-piece set of GTP Space Wasps or 3¾ Those things are like gold. I love them. I have a few sets and grab them if you can find them at a decent price. Space Wasps are great.
Yeah.
The quality of them is far superior to like the ones that Hasbro has been doing in their play sets in recent years. I have some too, and I for the Death Star, I love them. They're really, really, really solid. They're very, very durable, very high quality, like plastic.
Nice.
So that's cool. I'm glad you're able to get some at a decent price because they've never been cheap.
I was gonna say they're not inexpensive. Yeah.
Yeah, especially now that they don't make them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Adam says, I got the TVC Ahsoka, Anakin in his Clone Wars gear. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Ain't he pretty? Like his face is all like he looks good.
He's dreamy.
He's exceedingly dreamy. We'll see. He looks like a Disney prince.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Dodgen says, this week's acquisition, I acquired the good old pocket of air and flies. Wish me luck for tomorrow. That I come back with something for next week. Good luck. Hope you get something for next week.
Nice.
Dodgson. Let's see here. The new TVC slogan.
Yeah.
Be
Be happy to get what you get. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're sitting in the soup line going, please, sir, can I have some more? You know? Anything would be nice. Just repack this and repackage. I'll be fine.
Pico Obi-Wan says, got that Anakin. And Pico Obi-Wan, I got your link, but it's locked behind a Facebook group, which I can't access the way that I'm doing this stream right now. But thank you. I'll take a look later when I get a chance. Dixie Strikes Back. Yes, she wants to be held. She's like, Mom, you've been on this show for 2 hours. You need to come give me cuddles.
Right. I would ask you what kind of dog she is, but she's clearly a North Alaskan attention hound. Huh?
She's a miniature long-haired dachshund.
Yep.
Carmine, hello. Just says, wow. I don't know what that was in reference to, but thank you.
That was about the time the dog popped up, baby.
Reno says, Moth helmet was spotted at Galaxy's Edge on Wednesday.
Oh, interesting. They have the Hasbro helmets?
I have the Black Series one. I don't know if that's the one that you're referring to. I
don't think Galaxy's Edge made a Moth helmet. I thought that was just the Hasbro one. I'll have to look into that.
Right. It could be that the Black Series one was on sale there because they do sell like Hasbro stuff too at the parks.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I'll need to look into that too. Allison says, closest I've come to anything collecting is I bought some primer for the shelf.
Yep.
I mean, that's cool. A project. I mean, definitely document that, somehow. And like, I love to see when people like redo their collections and add shelves and do new scenes. I love to see that. So
yeah,
let's see that. I don't know if you're on Instagram, Allison, but
there's some super creative people out there. And I love the videos about the lighting solutions because I'm kind of like a big lighting guy. And just, that's where I get some great ideas. It's just fun to look at. Yeah, for
sure. Cool. I think that's all the acquisitions. I don't see anything else here in the chat. So that said, well, we are at the end of tonight's episode of Cantina Social Hour. We're closing out the month of January. Longest January in the history of the world. It feels like it's just been such a long month. But here we are. Tomorrow's February. And yeah, I mean, it's been fun. Paul, thank you so much for returning to the Cantina and talking Star Wars toys.
Oh, thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we have links to your YouTube and your Instagram down in the description, but can you remind our viewers where they can go to look you up online?
Absolutely. On X, Twitter, I'm Paul_collects. I'm on Instagram, Paul's Collectibles, and on YouTube as Paul's Collectibles. It's pretty easy to find. And I do not have a Facebook, and I'm still trying to relearn Instagram. I was always terrible at it, and so if you send me something or something, I might miss it for a couple of days. But I'm not trying to be mean. It's just because I'm stupid.
We're all learning.
Yeah, still.
This was the fastest 2 hours of this month-long
week. Yeah.
Thank you for moderating, Adam. We really appreciate it. And to everybody, thank you. We appreciate you very much. Thanks again to Paul for coming on. Be sure you check him out online. And like I said, we will return the same time next week, 6:30 p.m. Pacific for Cantina Social Hour. I got a brand new guest scheduled to join. I'm very excited to have her on, and it's sure to be a great time. And I'll announce details of that next week. But for now, thank you guys very much. Have a great weekend. And we will see you very soon. Be well, be safe. May the force be with you. Keep it positive. Hang in there. Spread the love, spread the kindness, spread joy. And keep in touch. We'll talk soon, you guys. Appreciate you as always. Have a great weekend. And no matter where you're tuning in from out in the galaxy, thank you for watching Cantina Social Hour. We'll see you guys next time. Paul, hang in there for just a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
And everyone else, bye-bye. And here's a message from the king.
Thank you. Thank you very much.